Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all my Cardfight Vanguard, Arboros, Dragon, Neonectar standard deck profile for Post, the Mysterious Fortune. Mysterious Fortune introduced the Arboros deck for standard format, being sort of like a ride chain type of deck. It doesn't specify needing the specific ones in the soul, but also just benefiting from riding the particular grade 1 through 3 Arboros dragons for different effects in the deck, which focus on using the token aspect of the Neonectar deck to have specialized, strengthened tokens brought out to the field, which I think is really, really cool. They played off the aspect of the tokens and gave you stronger ones to use with the deck, which makes you save rear guards, and also helps to utilize the different, units that can call out the tokens onto the deck. So it's a very interesting take on the deck, since the Musketeer deck focused more on just, retiring rear guards and calling new Musketeer rear guards, where the Arboros deck focused more on actually using the tokens that we have in the deck and we create. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. Now, before we begin, there's always just a little explanation. The tokens can't be played in the deck. This is a normal token that represents a 5,000 power, 1 critical token. We also have the newly evolved tokens in the latest set that you play. They have the 10,000 power. They also, along with boosts like the original token, they have the intercept ability and defense as well for the shield. For that, this unit represents a plant token. It has been strengthened and called by a special ability and cannot be put into the deck. So whenever it specifies the special ability, you'll use these tokens instead of the normal plant tokens we have in the deck. Just wanted to clarify that before we began the actual deck profile. So now we'll go ahead and begin with the grade 3s. Our main grade 3 unit is Arboros Dragon Sephiroth. The plant tokens your call are called as grade 0, 10,000 power, 10,000 defense, and critical 1, and they have boost and intercept. So it's just a continuous effect that Arboros Dragon Sephiroth has on the field. And once per turn on Vanguard or rear, you can retire a rear guard to call up to 2 plant tokens to rear. And if you have 5 or more rear guards, this unit gets plus 10,000 until end of turn. So just being able to have this token be able to become this token is an immediate boost for any of your plays in the deck, whether they boost or just attack on their own. They're a 10,000 power unit that can also intercept, so a very, very strong card to have in the deck and always have as your main Vanguard unit, since it'll be able to have that ability bestowed upon all the different units that can make plant tokens in the deck, since it's just a continuous effect as long as this card is on your Vanguard. And having the token power as well as a once per turn on Vanguard or rear means you can just have additional tokens to call out, so you always have rear guards to use as well in the deck. And then for the backup grade 3, I decided to go with Fruits Assort Dragon. You can try Maiden of Trailing Rose if you'd like. It's just an additional card that can make tokens, but Fruit Assort Dragon, during your turn, increase this unit's power by the sum of the original power of all your grade 0 rear guards. This card can hit some pretty big numbers on Vanguard or rear. Most of the time you want it for the rear guard circle, since it doesn't really help with creating tokens on your Vanguard circle, but Arboros always works on the rear guard as well. But you want to have Arboros so you'll get the plus 10,000 power, since the sum of the power of your unit Fruit Assorts Dragon will be better when you have the 10,000 power plant tokens instead of the 5,000 power plant tokens. It works on Vanguard or rear, and it's a continuous effect as well during your turn. It also can give you the Imaginary Gift Force Markers, which is an added boost if you do end up having to ride this card. I just like it as the backup for those big numbers you can hit, along with the power boost that Arboros Dragon gives to your units as well. And that is it for the grade 3s. We'll now move on to the grade 2s. One of our main grade 2 units is Arboros Dragon Timber. On Vanguard, when placed, the next plant token you call this turn is called as a grade 0, 10,000 power, 10,000 shield, critical 1, and has boost and intercept. So this card just gives you the special called plant token. It doesn't specify any of the other ones that you play, but when placed on rear as well, you may call a plant token to rear. So it has both the options. If you have 2 Arboros Dragon Timber in your hand, if you ride the one on Vanguard, you have the effect become active. Then if you call another one to rear, you'll get the additional token that you can call out to the rear guard circle as well, which is definitely a bigger power boost as well, and very, very useful for those plays you can do. So having for this, I have the 2 for now. Spiritual Tree Sage Irminsul is in here just as a replacement for the fact that it works with the grade 0 units, especially in the deck, but overall just a great card to use for that benefit of the powered up boost when you have it on your Vanguard circle, if you have any other units that call out tokens as well. One of them being Pansy Musketeer Sylvia. This card is just so great in the Musketeer deck, along with this one, just for the fact when placed, you may call a plant token. So getting that additional plant token definitely does help for all the different cards, including Timber that we already spoke of, and then just having the continuous effect of Arboros, Dragon, Sephiroth on the field as well for the powered up tokens that you can call. Since it says the +5 critical, but since Arboros gives the power boost for the tokens you call out, you'll be calling these 10,000 power tokens instead of the normal 5,000 power additional critical tokens, which is just an overall better benefit since you're also getting a card that has the intercept ability with the powered up shield as well. But for Pansy Musketeer Sylvia, you always have the plant token option available to you with this card, so very, very useful as well to rely on. And also now to finish off the grade 2s, I run 3 Gale of Arboros Oliver. With this one on Vanguard or rear once per turn, if your soul has 2 or more cards with Arboros in their card names, Counterblast 1 and resolve one of the effects below. Call 2 plant tokens to rear, or retire 2 rear guards, and this unit gets plus 20,000 and additional critical until end of turn. So your soul has to have 2 or more cards with Arboros, Dragon, and its card name, which most of the time definitely does come in handy for the consistency, just being able to make sure you get the proper rides for all the different Arboros Dragons you run in the deck. Being able to call 2 plant tokens, definitely useful. Just for a counterblast, you don't really use the counterblast for anything else in the deck, since Sephiroth has the continuous effect, and the other ones are more just set up. So relying on Oliver for this play definitely does come in handy. I was debating if I wanted to run 4 Oliver in the deck. If I were to run 4, I would probably take out 1 copy of Pansy Musketeer Sylvia for the last spot for Oliver. That's completely up to the player at that point with Oliver. As long as you're consistent with your rides for your Sephiroth especially, then this card will come in handy for all the different plays you can do. Also putting use to the many tokens you can create for the second effect, which is the retire 2, and it gets the plus 20 and extra critical, giving you more of a boost, especially when you have another token on the field that can boost Oliver for this play. It's up to that final spot if you want to run 4 of this, and then just dropping the Sylvia down as well for that spot. And that is it for the grade 2s. We'll now move on to the grade 1s. I run 4 Arboros Dragon Branch in the deck. On Vanguard or rear, when it attacks or the attack of boosted hits, you may look at 4 cards from the top of your deck. If you do, reveal up to 1 card with Arboros and its card name from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. This card just sets up your search so you can consistently have the Arboros ride for your Vanguard. So having this just, as your ride target, especially if you go first and you attack first, being able to boost and then hit with this gives you that search for the top 4 cards of your deck, depending on whatever Arboros card you may need, especially. So very, very useful for that. Doesn't have anything to do with the token. It's just more of that grade 1 setup for your different Arboros cards, which is definitely needed compared to the other cards, since the grade 2 and 3 Arboros don't have any sort of search effect. They just have the token setup, which is the main play of the deck, but Arboros Dragon Branch being able to set up for the actual search for those cards is very, very useful as well. And I also run 4 Fruit Baskets Elf with this one. On rear, Soul Blast 1 and retire this unit. Call up to 2 plant tokens to rear, and if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, those plant tokens get +5 until end of turn. It would normally call out the normal plant tokens, but if you have Sephiroth on your Vanguard, you can call out the powered up plant tokens, and giving them the +5 boost with Fruit Baskets Elf, making them 15,000 just is very, very strong on its own, giving you a 15,000 power unit on the field to either boost or attack with. Why I definitely love Fruit Baskets Elf in this deck, going full power, especially for all the different cards we have. And I also run 4 Grain Sprout Maiden Anifa with this one. On rear or guard, your plant tokens in the same column as this unit or on guard cannot be chosen by your opponent's card effects and get +5,000 attack and +5,000 shield. So just this option for protecting your plants from being destroyed, meaning you can use the intercept freely and not have to fear about them being retired by any of your opponent's effects. Definitely useful. Or just protecting the same tokens in the column, because it works on rear guard or the guard circle, which both definitely do come in handy with this card. That's why I like to run 4, so you always have the safety of your plants to rely on as well, and why I decided to run 4 of it for that option. It happens a lot more than you would think with the deck, since your opponent always try to disrupt your rearguard plays especially. And then to finish off the grade 1s, I run 2 Maiden of Happy Phone. When placed, call up to 1 plant token to rear. It only works on the rear guard circle, that's why I'm only running 2 of this card on your deck. But still, once again, for the 100th time in the deck profile, once you have Sephiroth set up for the power tokens, it's just an added boost, especially if you only have this 1 card to rely on. If like you have your Vanguard set up and you have no other cards, just being able to call it to rear and then get an additional token can definitely help, especially if you call this on a circle with a force marker, and then you can call the other token to another circle where it can potentially hit for a better attack as well. And that is it for the grade 1s. For the grade 0, I run 1 Arboros Dragon Ratoon. It's the generic starter when wrote upon draw a card, but having another card with Arboros in the soul, especially with some of our other cards like Oliver in the deck, are very, very important, so I like to run this. And for the trigger lineup, decided to stick with the traditional 8 critical, so 4 Chestnut Bullet and 4 Night Queen Musketeer Danielle for the 8 trigger lineup. And also, I run the 4 Maiden of Blossom Rain for the Sentinel spot, just saving the grade 1 lineup for all the different cards that can make and utilize the tokens, and for Watering Elf to finish off the main deck as well. It's definitely a fun deck, especially if you're looking for a deck that focuses on the new token plays, so definitely look into it. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Qualia out.